one of the things I realized is kind of like, it's what, there's what I know, and then there's what I'm supposed to share, and how I'm supposed to share it so that way everybody gets it. Would you guys agree? And I think that's the biggest secret to the business, because it doesn't matter what I know. I have to be able to convey it in a way where everybody here gets it. And so that's like the art to the whole business of really teaching. It's, because there's a lot of people that know what they're doing, but they can't teach it. Okay? And I was thinking about, like, what was the most important point to the business of buying multifamilies that really, allowed me to grow so quickly. And I wanted to kind of like just start off with that point. Okay, and it's kind of like, it's really weird. Like my friends that hang out with me, and I have a very small circle of friends. They, when we hang out, like I always talk about stuff, and to me, it's like just common sense. But to them, they're like, this is revolutionary, and so in a way, I don't know. What I know is valuable. You guys get what I'm saying? And so there's this one point that really literally just transformed my whole business in terms of buying multifamilies. And if you guys just understand this point before leaving today, you'll get it. Okay? Can you guys close the door? And leave that left door open so that way other people can come, but close these door too. Okay, and so before we start, can you guys turn off your phones? And what it's going to go, how the event's going to run is I'm going to talk for like the next 3 hours. Okay? I don't normally do breaks because I forget. Okay? Right, so I just zone in and I just forget. So if you guys need a break, can you guys raise your hand and say, hey, can we do a break? Because I forget. So let me tell you guys the point first before I forget it. So the biggest point that I've discovered in terms of buying multis is really this. I'll give you guys a scenario. See, the scenario is, let's imagine you have, let's say, just $100,000, okay? Just a simple number. And the number is not even important because you can, raise capital, you can use hard money to borrow money and things like that. But just imagine that we were only limited to having this 100,000. And so the question now is, how do you buy more assets or grow your business with it, right? And so here's the idea. The idea is pretty much this. Let's say you have 100,000. There's a few ways of doing it. You can take that 100,000 and you can buy a property, okay? 100% cash, and then you refinance out. Everybody got that? Now, when you do the refi, you always have to. The secret to the whole game is understanding the refinance. Because the refinance is what? Is the ability to get your money back, correct? And so if you do the refi, and the refi is, let's say, 75%, okay? What does that tell you? That tells you that you have 25% stuck in the transaction, correct? And so in order for you to do this process all over again, you would refinance the 75 out, and then you would have to save up 25 to repeat the process. Would you guys agree? So that's the typical process, and a long time ago I thought that was the way to do it as well, until I realized this great idea. And the great idea is, what if I just bought the asset from the very beginning for $75,000? It's worth 100. Do you guys follow? But I just bought it from the very beginning for $75,000. So when I go and do the refinance, what would the bank give me back? $75,000. And once I get it back, I don't have to wait, and save up $25,000 to buy the next asset. I can just buy the next asset. It's that simple. And it's that crazy. Okay? It's crazy because it's so simple. You guys get what I'm saying? It's like it's so simple that it's not like real, And that's what I've come to realize. It's like it's nothing revolutionary. It's nothing like no one here doesn't know. I mean, it's nothing that no one here doesn't already know. Would you guys agree? Right? It's just that one of the things that come to us is, well, where do you find deals for 75 cents if it's worth 100, right? And so if that's the only roadblock, can you just imagine deciding to figure out that roadblock, right? And coming up with the answer to that, and then once you're done, now you have no excuses. Do you guys follow? Right? And what's the magic that I've discovered with investing in what's called a C market? So you can do this also in A markets, okay? It's just that I built a larger portfolio in C markets, and so I can talk more about it. And I'm going to talk to you guys about what a C market is and all that stuff later. But the great thing about C markets is that it's very easy to get opportunities for 75 cents a dollar. Better yet, I'm going to show you guys how to identify a C market and stuff later as well, right? But once I find a C market, the first thing I do is I do the due diligence to see how easy it is to look for deals for 75 cents. So first is identify a C market. Second is how easy is it to get those opportunities? Do you guys follow? Because not every C market has those characteristics. And so there's a town like that's a C market. You know, the income there is below income, right? But the characteristics of the real estate in that marketplace does not conform to allow me to easily get 75-cent deals. And because that's the case, I don't enter. I go to the next town. I look for the town that is easily giving me what I want. You guys follow? It's that crazy. The other thing about today's event is this. I do a lot of marketing, okay, to generate deals. But I've also learned how to do this entire business without any marketing, okay? And so what I'm going to show you guys is, you guys ever heard of what's called a motivated seller? Okay, for the people that have not heard of it, a motivated seller is a person that's desperately trying to sell their house, right? Or really, really highly motivated to sell their house. Well, I've learned, or I figured out how to generate motivated sellers through the MLS. Okay, I figured out how to identify what a motivated seller looked like through the MLS. Not only that, engage with them, make contact, make offers to them, and get them to sell to the price it needs to be. Okay, and so I'm going to talk about that later. So we're not going to go into like how to do direct mail and stuff like that today at all. The reason why is because to me, I think that's like for anybody that's new to the business, you know, that's a waste of time. You know, why do marketing to people that are going through distress that actually never volunteered to sell? Would you guys agree? These people never volunteered to sell. They could be losing their house to foreclosure, probate, all these crazy things, right? But they never said, hey, I want to sell my house. Would you guys agree? And so we're doing all this direct mail to people, and they never said they want to sell. Whereas on the MLS, which is the system that you know, people that want to sell, they go give their house to a realtor to list their house. These people all already volunteered that they want to sell, right? The only thing is, it might not be for the price we need it at. Not yet, anyway, right? And so there's a whole game I'm going to show you on how to get that, okay? Other than that, you guys have any questions what I covered so far? Okay, before you answer the question or ask the question, I'm sorry? Oh, you're just joking. You just walked in. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. It's recorded, so you're gonna get the recording. Okay. Other than that, we're good. I'm good to start. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna give you guys a rough outline for today, and then from there, we're gonna go into the most boring stuff of the business first. But then, this is where all the magic happens. Okay. It's understanding this boring stuff. Okay. Once you understand this boring stuff, and then I'm going to show you how to like use it to your advantage, you're going to be like, holy cow, this boring stuff is actually really, really powerful. Okay? And so let me give you guys a rough outline for today. Okay, so first thing we're gonna get into is the boring numbers, the basic numbers that you have to understand for every cash flow property. Then from there, once you understand these boring numbers, okay, we're gonna get into one of my favorite part, and this is the first game that I'm gonna show you guys. And I apologize that that thing is the exact size copy of me. It's supposed to be bigger. It's just that this is the first time we've used this thing, and because of that, we didn't know that it was going to come out to be the same size, you know. But for the next workshop, you'll get a bigger size. But so this is the thing about this business, right? I look at business as a game, okay, like a video game. And I like that perspective because games are made to be won. Would you guys agree? Right? And the cool part about it is, like once you understand how to win, it gets really fun. And so it is a game, you know. And so I love video games, and I look at every part of a business as a game. And so the boring part of this whole game is just understanding the numbers, which is like the tools and weapons to use to the game, right? And then from there, I'm going to show you guys the first game to actually use these tools. It comes into understanding how to use these numbers to take advantage of what's called the asking price, the FMV, and the ARV. Okay, like I started earlier, like 10 minutes ago. I spoke about how a C market is an easy place to get deals for 75 cents on the dollar. Okay, it has to do with understanding asking price, FMV, and ARV. I'm gonna get into it. You're gonna love it. Okay, and you're gonna see how easy it is to get deals for those ratios. Once we get good at that game, Elijah, there's a packet of notes and paperwork that you actually need on the right side of the passenger side of my car. Yeah, can you? Okay, yeah, yeah, and put my wallet in my car. And so bring me the notepad, because I have notes on there. It's just a notepad, but there's a stack of paper that you need as well, okay? So over here is boring numbers. Over here is the building. Over here is asking. I have a line down, FMV, I have a line down, and then I have ARV. So the outline of today's event is we're going to get into boring numbers first, and then we're going to get into this, asking, FMV, and ARV. Once we're good with understanding these two games, okay, we're going to then, I'm going to introduce you guys into looking at markets. Okay, I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do my research to identify what a C property looks like. A C area, sorry, looks like. Okay, it's really, really easy. I'm going to go through the process on the computer so that way you guys see the exact process. And then from there, we're going to jump on the MLS, which is the system that realtors use to glance through all the properties that are for sale. And then I'm going to show you the pattern on how I look at all these asking prices to see if this is an easy place to get deals for 75 cents on the dollar. You guys got that? Okay. The other thing is, by the time we're done with boring numbers, you also might not have a problem buying property for 85 cents to the dollar, 90 cents to the dollar. Because even at that percent, invested correctly, you can get 100% return to 50% return a year. You guys follow? So it's actually not that bad to even pay for more. And then once we understand markets, we're going to then go into how to build your first portfolio. Okay? You can literally do this in a year. And then once we're done with the first portfolio, the first 5, how to transition it over to a non-recourse mortgage, or this is the first 5, and then from there, how to move it over to the portfolio. So from 1 to 5, and then from 5 to your first portfolio. Sorry. Okay. And what I was saying is you can do the first 5 in under a year. The thing is, I'm going to talk to you guys about why you don't want to do it within the year. Okay. We'll talk more about it when we get there. No, that's mine. That's for later. Okay, so this business, we're going to start with the numbers. Everybody good? So the most important number that I always look at in this business, right, is of course the asking price, but we're not going to do that yet. We're going to do that last. So what I look at beyond the asking price? Of course, you always look at the asking price, but one of the most important numbers I always look at first is what is the gross income of the property. Okay. That is the total income it can make. Now, let's say I'm buying like today's event on 1 units to 4 units. You can even do it up to 10 units. Okay. But there's a different game once you go like really above 6 units. It becomes a game based on income more than even appraised value, ARV, FMV, and things like that. But if you're going to stick to just like, let's say, 4 units, you always look at the gross income. When people say like, I can rent out the parking lot, I can rent out the space next door and things like that to make more money, I really don't care. Okay, I don't count that as real income. The reason why is because that income requires me to talk to somebody or communicate with somebody to make an extra $50 to $100. It's not worth it. Do you guys follow? Okay, and so because of that, I don't look at that as real income. I just look at the rental income as real income. Okay, and so the gross income is normally based off the rental income. From here, you have to look at operating expenses. So what's the first operating expenses? So the first operating expense is management. Now, what's the percent that we use for management? So I use the percent that the portfolio loan requires me to use. Okay, so for example, you could be buying a property and you might not even have management because you have it all Section 8 out, or you have it rented out, like it was already rented out really well once you bought it, and the maintenance is low to begin with, or you just decide you don't want to do management. The thing is, you still have to account for it. You guys got that? And so what's the percent that the portfolio lenders always require me to use? They require that I use 5%. Okay, so you could actually be using management, you could be paying 10, but they calculate it as 5. You got it? Ignore that dot. It's 5%. From there comes maintenance. What's maintenance? Now, the other rule about maintenance is if the property needed a new boiler, a new roof, and it's coming, like it needs to be replaced within a year, 2 years. From the very offer on the property that I make, I accounted for that in my offer. You guys got that? So if it needs a new boiler, in my offer, I'm going to be offering $4,000 less because that's the cost to replace a new boiler. Okay, and so we're going to talk about the cost of those things later. But the point is, in my initial offer, if things need to be replaced, like within a 3 to 4 year window, I deduct it from the offer from the very beginning. But like I said, we have to work based on the rules of the portfolio lender because down the road we're going to put these things all into a portfolio, right? And because of that, we have to kind of be aware of those rules now. And so the portfolio lender, regardless of whatever you're going to get replaced before you acquire, okay, they are going to still ask you for a percent to allocate towards maintenance. And so that percent is also 5%. Then comes vacancy. Vacancy, you know, if you have a 4-unit, 1 unit is vacant, you technically have 25% vacancy for that month, right? And if you do eviction, which we're going to talk about, I don't ever recommend it. Okay? The reason why is because if you do eviction, you'll get them out, but they're going to trash the place, and they're going to cause 2 to 3 times more damage to the property. You guys got that? Plus, it doesn't help them because wherever they move to, that landlord is going to be pulling their records, and it's going to see that they got evicted. You guys follow? And because of that, that landlord doesn't want them either. And so they actually will, you know, eat up 3 to 4 months of your year. And so what we do is we'll start eviction. In New Jersey, it takes 45 days to evict somebody, so it's really, really quick. We start eviction, and from that, we see them at the courthouse steps, and we just pay them to leave. Okay, we'll pay them like $500 to leave. It pretty much comes out of their deductible. Okay, if anything, I'll pay them $1,000 to leave. Okay, the point is, we don't pay them till they leave, and it saves us money from the damages that they could cause, because that could be like $3,000 to $4,000 versus just losing $1,000 and getting them out now versus them trying to drag it out later. Okay, but like I said, regardless of how we handle eviction, the portfolio lenders require us to set aside, you know, a percent for vacancy. So what is that percent? It's also 5%. From here, we're going to get into the basics of the operating expenses, which is